Well, it's that time once again. It's 1 o'clock on a Thursday, our usual time, which means we're back. Welcome back to another live stream with Zephyr Drone Studios. I am your host, as always, Dustin Brewer, your client success manager and branding guru. With me today, special guest sitting in for Bo. T's and P's out to Bo. Bo's a little under the weather today after doing battle with some wayward chicken salad. But in his stead, we have our very own green coiffed Josh Sime. Josh, the Padawan to my Jedi Master. Nice to have you back, buddy. Good to see you.
Yeah, it's nice to be back.
I bet it feels good. The setup looks nice, and the
Yeah.
hair appears to be finding its
Yep.
way back.
It is. You can see the usual hair color fighting its way back. Only probably got a couple more weeks of the vibrant tennis ball, but it's
No,
still going
no.
pretty strong.
For the uninitiated, which yours lasted much longer than mine or Bo's, we put the hair about our face and heads up for auction to raise some money for sick kids at children's hospitals during the Extra Life 24-hour stream, where we proudly raised over $10,000 for some different children's hospitals like Vanderbilt Children's, Boston Children's, things like that. So, um, yeah, it's for a good cause. I think mine and Bo's went back pretty much to normal a couple weeks afterwards. Mine washed out. Thankfully, that blue didn't stick around, but it really made the gray pop. That and then just life probably added to it a little bit. But yeah, man, your hair really took the color. So congratulations.
It's and it's only the
Hopefully,
past couple weeks it's like dulled out a little bit. It was kind of the same vibrant, glowing as I like to describe it, color for the first solid month and a
you're
half.
glowing. You're
It is,
glowing.
yeah, the most literal someone could ever say you're glowing to.
Right. Hey, Stu, welcome into the chat. Good to see you again. Welcome back to our Thursday stream. It's good to be back on our normal time within the new year. Again, the layout looks incredible. Bo did a great job. Still a couple kinks here and there, but nothing major. Really proud to be able to show this off. And, you know, keep moving forward with what we're doing, which is pretty exciting stuff. And I'm actually glad that you're able to join us today. Kind of fortuitous. We're going to have you on anyway to talk about some of the new stuff happening within Zephyr,
Yeah.
just because you got your finger on the pulse with that. But just to kind of keep with our typical schedule, we will start off with some things in the news. Drone news. Drone news. Who
Drone
doesn't?
news.
We need. I really want to come up with I don't know, like a theme song for drone news, like one of those really cool old school like
Mhm.
today in drone news.
Yeah,
Um,
get some solid Anchorman going.
It'd be nice. I think we could pull that off. I think we could do it. So first things first in drone news, our friends at CUAV, which we will be at again this year. It's the drone conference in Las Vegas that we go to. We always have a big showing. It was a ton of fun. Actually, Josh and I got to go this past year. It's an absolute blast. Very fruitful show for us. But throughout the year, they offer continuing education and webinars. And one of them is near and dear to us because it's something that we're actively working on. But they're doing a drones in agriculture webinar at 1 p.m. on January 13th. It's an hour-long webinar where essentially get to talk to professionals within the industry and see what their needs are for drones and how drones can apply to this burgeoning market. I know we've had some discussions internally, but I'm really excited to know more of how we fit in to that part of the sector, especially since it's growing so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the new sectors that we want to get into. Obviously, everything sooner rather than later.
True.
Um, but obviously, one of the biggest use cases of drones, especially fixed wing, is really common in agriculture
Hmm.
for use with crop dusting, essentially, a lot of different stuff. So that's one of the reasons that we have not yet got into it, is we don't do fixed wing at this moment. But it's something
Right.
we've wanted to get into for a while. Um, yeah, it's just one of the biggest uses of drones. So we're already starting to do that customer discovery and research into how we can better serve that market and help meet those training needs.
Yeah, for sure. I don't remember if it was at CUAV or if it was the show that I went to for LIDA up here in Massachusetts, but talked to some folks that work for Game and Fish, and they were using drones to help track migrations of white-tailed deer,
Hmm.
mostly so that they could aid in conservation. Which I'm a big conservationist. I've enjoyed harvesting pretty much my entire life, and to see drones being utilized that way to help track migrations and herd quality, health, things like that. I think that's really exciting stuff. And I mean, just imagine what that could do outside of conservation. but in other aspects like endangered species, um, finding areas for timber harvesting that won't affect big swaths of wildlife. Like, there's a lot of applications there. It's pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, another really unique one I remember hearing someone talk about at COAV was like erosion surveying. I forget the exact term for
Oh,
it, but
uh-huh.
essentially they would take I think it was a Mavic Mini, and they would fly through like the watersheds, and they would
Hmm.
look at riverbanks for like possible erosion points. They would, do regular flights so they could go check in and see like, okay, how did this major storm affect this particular river, things like that. So yeah, there's some really cool and unique use cases for drones that,
Hmm.
yeah, I never would have even thought of personally.
That's in fact that's really fascinating. I love that. I'm excited to learn a little bit more. But again, that's a CUAV webinar. We'll post it to our socials either later today or maybe on our usual scheduled update on Friday with that information. But 1 p.m. on the CUAV website, there's a link to the window there for the 13th. I'm looking forward to that one. I know a lot of our team's going to be present for it on the webinar
Yep.
to learn more. Outside of that, a little bit closer to me up here in the northeast, um, the Life Flight organization out of Maine is having growing concerns with drone usage near medical facilities. I thought that was fascinating. And then trying to make the public more aware for public safety on drone handling near, I guess, areas of higher air traffic. That's a little bit new for me. I would have never, why, but I never would have thought like there are right of way rules that apply to to drone flight. There are right of way rules that apply to areas of higher traffic. So I think that's really fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah, it's also one of the hardest things to kind of train for, to actually train someone. Like awareness is kind of the biggest preventative measure we can do for things
Hmm.
like that. Because like, essentially what you need to do to not crash into an ambulance helicopter, or there was, I remember a couple years ago now, that story about how in the California wildfires there was a drone that interfered with some of the
Oh
planes trying
wow,
to put out those fires. So like the way to avoid those things is don't
sure.
fly where you're not supposed to. So it's really just all about awareness, about getting the word out on how to figure out where is safe to fly, how to identify like if you've accidentally started flying near an airstrip, a hospital, something like that.
Hmm.
Um, but there's not a specific way to fly near there. You just shouldn't. So it's kind of all about, yeah, getting the word out there and awareness.
Absolutely. No, that makes perfect sense. And yeah, I would like to see maybe. I know we have something similar. Maybe it's something that we could make a little bit more robust in our Miami Beach sim, where we have that plane that comes in fairly low.
Mhm.
Um, that would be kind of interesting to see like how we could make that part of the requirement is to stay out of a certain area or flight path. It's
Yeah,
tough. I mean, I've always kind of wondered, like, well, why don't it's 2026? Why don't we have flying cars? This is probably a good reason why.
definitely a big reason
Because
why.
a huge reason why. Like even like jetpacks or rocket shoes. Like I don't think I could trust anybody to not
Yeah,
fly in the way of something important.
a fender bender on the road is already bad enough. I don't know if I want to do one 400 feet up.
What do we call fender benders in the sky? Wings and things or zingers.
Yeah, not good is
Um,
what we call them.
you know what? Trademarked.
Yeah.
I did it. And one of the last two, but this one's more of a feel good. Another dog. A couple weeks ago, we talked about a lost dog that was located using drones through public safety. It happened again, this time in New Jersey. A family pet ran away, made it 26 miles down the New Jersey Turnpike, which I don't know if you've ridden on that thing, but it is Mad Max Fury Road. It's
Yeah.
terrifying. Um, the fact that the pooch was able to be recovered using drones and public safety, being able to fly over and locate the dog without having to just send a bunch of people running on foot after this poor thing. The dog did have some minor injuries, but is expected to make full recovery. So that's kind of cool. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of great though if you think about. how you're not going to impact traffic nearly as much, not going to put lives at stake, which, I mean, I'd throw myself in front of a car for easy, easy. A person, depends. But a dog, absolutely. So it's kind of nice that we don't have to. We can use drones for just that sort of thing, and we kind of have our more or less. I would like to add a little dog model, but now we have a person for our search
Yeah.
and rescue stuff.
Yeah, that's been our big focus probably the past year has been search and rescue, because drones are such a great tool for it. You know, you can save lives, and it's becoming a bigger and bigger group of people who are using drones. So yeah, shout out to all of the SAR professionals out there who are able to fly those drones and find people, dogs, whatever it may be. Because yeah, it's really important work.
Absolutely, especially the pets.
Yeah,
And
mostly the dogs. I guess people are cool too, but
they're
let's
fine.
focus on the dogs.
They're fine. Also, a person don't run down the New Jersey Turnpike. You can't really tell that to a dog because they don't speak a lot of English, which is another thing that just pisses me off that it's 2026 and we can't speak to our pets or write them off as dependents on our taxes because I think both things should be a thing. How do we can send Katy Perry to space, but we can't let my dog tell me when she wants to go outside besides just scratching on a door?
Yeah, we gotta. Have you ever seen those like large pads of buttons some people get for their dogs that
Yeah,
they
it's
like,
freaky.
press? It's a little scary. I think that kind of
Yeah.
scares me from being like, maybe I'm okay with pets not talking. I'm a little terrified of the dog just being like, meat now.
No,
Okay,
sure.
yes, yes, sir. Whatever
A
you want,
little
don't hurt me.
a little Pandora's. It's like Pandora's box. You open it up and a bunch of horrible stuff pops out, but there's that one really good thing. And
Yep.
I wonder if that would be worth it to know. Of course, my German Shepherd, she wouldn't shut up. She would just yell frisbee over all day, and then my
Yeah.
hound dog would just say, "Is the dinner yet?" Um, I would want to be able to change their accents. Also, that's
Mm. Yeah, like do a
that's a
little
given.
voice changer. I
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
totally. And then finally, and this will play in. That's why I saved it for last. It'll play into something that directly is coming down the pipe for us. Um, in Summers County, West Virginia, their public safety group, especially their fire department, is using drones with thermal, and they are able to start training and actually have been able to avert having a few wildfires spread in the Appalachian Mountains, Appalachia. Um, they're able to find these by flying the drones over these different quadrants, look for the hot spots, locate those, and essentially stop these before they would even be spotted from a fire tower or anything of the sort. I think that's incredibly useful. And wow,
Mm.
what a huge savings that would be to a municipality.
Yeah. Yeah, we're currently working on adding thermal to our search and rescue scenes. It's one of the big things we want in our next update. And yeah, for search and rescue, obviously finding people or dogs, more importantly,
Hmm.
but also the wildfire aspect. Yeah, being able to find where there are these little fires, popping up here and there, can be really helpful for wildfire prevention.
Absolutely. Um, I I can't imagine what that would save people from damage to person or property. Being able to, especially in times of year when we know that's more of a possibility, in really the whole entirety of fall and most of the summer in some of the southern reaches. But yeah, being able to put that in our simulators so that people can build up those skills, I think is going to be huge. I for one am looking forward to it. I know one of our dev team put some images of it
Yep.
for us to take a look at, and it's pretty stunning.
Yeah. That's our guy Dane. He's been working on
Mhm.
thermal for the past couple weeks now, and he's doing an awesome job with it. It
He's doing
looks
a great
looks
job.
great.
It really does. And so I guess kind of walk us through what that looks like. I know we talked a little bit about it in the past on a previous stream, but when this first came about, talking about thermal, and then that
Mhm.
coming to us, and then how we synthesize that and then start that process, could you walk us through that a little bit?
Yeah, so for pretty much any new feature, new scenario, new module, even bug fixes, there's kind of a process it goes through. here at Little Arms. We'll hear it from someone at a trade show. We'll get it support case, some sort of feedback, or we'll be reaching out. We do that a lot. We'll reach out to current customers and ask for feedback. What do you want to see next? How can we better fit your needs? All that sort of thing. And thermal's no different. So we hear that was, I know, a really requested thing before we had it, because
Hmm.
for things like search and rescue, wildfire detection, even tower and substation inspection for
Mm.
like utilities companies. Thermal is really
Hmm.
important because they're going to be going up and down that tower, looking for hot spots with thermal to see.
Sure.
That can be a great way to troubleshoot and make sure everything's in working order. So we'll get that feedback, and then it will come down our kind of development pipeline. We'll make sure then, once we kind of have it on our board, we'll go back to the people who gave us that feedback as best we can, and we'll try to make sure we know exactly what they want, what they're looking for, what their use case is. Because a lot of the times, we'll have feedback that it might be something like, oh, this particular subject is too hard to find in a search and rescue scenario, and that is a problem, but we don't know the solution yet. So we want to go back,
Sure.
talk to the customer, and say, hey, we think adding thermal will help with that. Okay, do they agree? Do they disagree? Or there's a variety of different ways you can solve almost every problem. So then, yeah, going back to those customers and making sure that we are actually going to fulfill their need. And then, yeah, starting development, go through development, do internal testing, and then, yeah, put it out there for everybody to use, and you know, hope to hear good feedback and work on whatever the
All right.
things we missed are.
Sure. So I guess my question, and this is just strictly, outside looking in, will it be a scenario where you will choose the ability to use thermal, or will it be drone specific within our drone cabinet?
So it depends on the drone. For every
Okay.
drone, we're trying to simulate as realistic as possible. So if a
Mhm.
particular drone does not have the ability to have a thermal camera, we won't add it. Like I know we have some very budget consumer end drones in the sim. So like those, we're not going to throw a thermal camera on.
Mhm.
But any drone you would expect to see thermal on, we'll add thermal to. And within any module, you'll be able to then turn on thermal, and you won't just get your classic kind of red hot, I think like a lot of people think of, but
Mhm.
we also will let you do, all the various different kind of color profiles of like you do white
Oh,
hot, black
cool.
hot, because, depending on the situation, it kind of depends on what you want. I think I've seen for the tower inspection, like I mentioned, that I think I've seen with a lot of the kind of traditional red hot.
Mhm.
But for search and rescue, I've definitely seen a lot of white hot as well. So you can select all of those different prefabs in just a little drop down menu. And yeah, and then you're good to go, and you can keep flying the sim just like you would with it turned off.
That's really cool. I didn't realize that it was going to be that adaptable between the different like color scheme, like Fleer or Reaper or anything like that.
Yep.
That's really cool. The amount of quality and detail that goes into our simulations and modules still, like, I get that I'm dyed in the wool, right? Zephyr all the way. But again, just I try to put myself into consumer shoes, and looking at this stuff, like, I am constantly just wowed by what the quality and care that goes into it, and the stuff that does go wrong that we're notified, and how quickly and seriously everybody takes it. It's really impressive. It
Yeah.
honestly is. You guys do just a great job. It's really cool. So that's really exciting. I'm anxious to see that one. Come to fruition and be made available. Again, it'll be made available to our enterprise customers.
Mhm.
Um, it'll be you know, available to things like public safety and for educational purposes, stuff like that. So that'd be pretty great.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Anything else of note coming down the pipeline? I know there's another drone that's about to hit the
Yes.
sim as well, right?
So the Autel Evo Max 4T is currently we already have the models fully created and are currently being integrated into the sim. So that for sure should be in the next update. We also, this is slightly tentative, we're currently working on the models for the Brink Lemur 2 as well.
Hmm.
So that should get out in the next update. Can't say for sure right now, but looking at our current kind of trajectory, that one also. So in the next update, hopefully we'll get 2 drones out.
Wow.
With this new year, we're starting a new kind of quarterly system where
Mhm.
starting in the end of Q2, start of Q3 this year, we're hoping to get an update out every quarter from now on.
Mhm.
So hopefully you guys will be able to see new drones, new scenarios, new modules, new features at a more regular pace than it has been in the past. Yeah, and so hopefully you guys will also get to see more content as well.
That's incredible. I mean, you look at how some major studios push updates, and no, we're not talking like hot fixes and things like that, but like true quality updates, additions, scenarios, things like that. To be able to push out, several a year, especially for a group our size, I think is really commendable. Like that's a lot. It's a lot of work, fast paced, and still being able to provide the quality that we provide. That's impressive.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a big undertaking, and we're kind of, as we're just starting to kick it off, I'm sure we'll hit roadblocks and
Oh, sure.
potholes, but we have a really great group here, and I'm sure we'll be able to do it.
Absolutely. These two new drones. What? That's a lot of abbreviations and numbers. That doesn't like. I'm personally not aware. So, what do these drones look like? Act like? Like, what are their typical use case?
Yep, so they're both quadcopters, and I know the Autel Evo Max 4T, all one drone, big long name.
Mhm.
But that is a drone that is used. It is used in the U.S. for sure, but it's also used more widely in Central and South America.
Oh,
I've heard some people kind of make Autel comparisons to being like the DJI kind of that region. DJI, I believe, is also widely used there, but a similar
hmm.
level of popularity. So that's been highly requested by a variety of our different customers and potential customers. The Brink Lemur 2, that I believe worked a little less with that one personally, but that one I believe is more public safety and police and first responder focused.
Oh, okay.
They're both quadcopters, the Libre 2 as well as the Evo Max 4T. Um, but yeah, so those I believe they both should have thermal cameras. Fairly certain. Don't 100% quote me on that, but 90% sure they both should have thermal cameras. Yeah, so definitely excited.
Okay. No, that's awesome. What about sim wise or module wise? Anything else coming out there that
Mhm.
we should keep our eyes open for?
Yeah, I'm trying to think for this next update. The We should hopefully have those thermal additions for the search and rescue scenarios, which will kind
Okay.
of revamp those a good bit. I don't think we have any new public facing modules that will be out in the next update, at least currently slated. But along with having the thermal added to the search and rescue scenarios, we also are hoping to get new models out as well as potentially more detailed information. We're like just now kind of planning out this first quarter on what
Hmm.
we're going to work on. So to be determined, but hopefully in the
Okay.
next at least couple updates, we'll get some big things out there to really revamp those modules and add even more to them.
That's awesome. That's exciting stuff. I'm really anxious to see what happens next, and we've got a full year of items to add. So I think we've got our big meeting internally next week to go over a bunch of this stuff, and I'm
Yep.
excited to be part of that conversation. And yeah, I think we've got a lot of really neat things on the horizon just from our end and from marketing and branding. We've got a new article going up on UST probably later today or tomorrow that will go into more of these updates and talk a little bit more about search and rescue and some images from there. So we'll post that to our socials um, also. And then I know our sales team will be in Indiana next week. I believe the 13th, 14th, and 15th for that show in Indianapolis. So that's exciting. But yeah, that's pretty much everything that I've got for us today. I'm trying to keep it a little bit shorter since a little bit of a stream disruption, and I want to definitely get free you up to get back into the dev studio. And I know for a fact nobody wants to sit here and look at my giant face on the screen for another 30 minutes. So we'll keep this one a little bit short. But I know next week, something else that will be kind of fun, I do want to put a bug in everyone's ear, is that myself and Bo will be recording with SDI. And really excited to sit down with them, hang out, and talk about what's new with SDI and their group. So should be a lot of fun. I'm excited about that, and I'm trying to find the information specifically for SDI, and I'll tell you exactly what that stands for. Let's see here. That's the Sonora Desert Institute. They're a group that we work really closely with.
There's a lot of great guys there. We see them at a lot of shows for sure, and I know they're definitely got some friends over there.
Yeah, we'll be sitting down with Christian and I believe James to go over what's new with Zephyr, hit some talking points. So that'll be a lot of fun. They'll release that on theirs, and then we'll also, we'll share it on our socials as well. So if you're not following us or subscribed to the YouTube, I would suggest doing that. It costs you $0. It's free 99. And we bring fresh content every week with what's in the news, but both in the world of drones and then with us in particular. We'll have the SDI guys on in February. We've got a couple other special guests coming up to include the rest of our founders, a couple members of the dev team, and our sales team, just to get some other perspectives from in-house, and so everybody can meet everybody. I want our subscribers to be able to meet everybody. But yeah, that's what's coming down the pipe with us. I'm excited about it. Josh, thank you so much for sitting in today. I really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
Of course, yeah, you bet. And yeah, okay. I just got an update from our producer that we're going to be signing off. So everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate you. Continue to be awesome to one another. And if you need us, you know where to find us.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye, Josh.
Bye.